Hi, this is Carrie Brownstein.
This is DJ Premier.
This is Darren Aronofsky.
You got the RZA right here.
Rose McGowan.
Radiohead.
Aisha Tyler.
Tribe Called Quest. Fred Armisen.
Prince Paul.
Javier Munoz. Seth Meyers.
Frankie Cosmos.
Flying Lotus.
Hi, we're Chaim, and you're listening to the Talkhouse Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Talkhouse Podcast. I'm Josh Modell. On this week's episode, we've got a pair of fantastic songwriters and friends who traveled in the same musical circles as well, and have both released disarmingly charming records recently. Clairo and Hannah Cohen. Now, Clairo has been making music since she was a teen, and her songs and sounds have a remarkable depth and breadth of influence from 70s soft rock to more worldly sounds. Her early viral success pointed to a pop star trajectory, but Clairo always seems to choose a more interesting sonic path over the more obvious one. Her third album, Charm, came out last year, and it leans into a bit of slinky groove more than she had in the past. Definitely check it out. The other half of today's conversation is Hannah Cohen, who tapped a bunch of cool guests, including Clairo, to help out on her new album. Earthstar Mountain is Cohen's first in more than 5 years, and you can hear the care she put into it. It's an understated but deeply considered ode to her surroundings, the Catskills, and it sounds like that area feels. She made the record with her partner Sam Evian, a Talkhouse alum himself, at their upstate New York studio, Flying Cloud. It doesn't sound rushed, which is a topic you'll hear in this chat. In addition to Clairo, it features a guest appearance from Sufjan Stevens, among other folks. Check out a little bit of the song Rag right here.
Hey, there's Ed, 75 years old, still got his mind all in with him, how that works, I don't know. His old Airstream parked in the front yard, put a for sale sign up, gonna drive that baby far, it's just...
These two friends get right into a delightful chat that covers Cohen's record, including the mushroom that inspired its title. They also chat about how working on music with your romantic partner can be its own form of therapy, and they get deep into soundtracks toward the end, tossing around the idea of making one even without a movie to hang it on. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for doing it.
Of course.
You are so busy right now, and I understand that it's a lot to take time to.
No, I was so excited when you asked me. I was like, oh my God, I would love to, because I have so many thoughts about your record, and I actually have so many questions just in general.
Okay. Wow. Well, I asked the right person.
Can you talk about the name of the album and how you found the mushroom?
Yes. So the record is Earthstar Mountain. And there are these mushrooms. Well, it's like two song titles combined. It's like the two song titles kind of merged and created a realm that was already there. Like I made all these songs. I wrote all these songs on Earthstar Mountain, which is my backyard, which is where you can find the Earthstar mushrooms. I mean, you can find Earthstar mushrooms all in the Catskills, but there's a lot of them in our backwoods where we live. I'll show you next time you're there. It's not that far up the mountain. But yeah, these Earthstar mushrooms are really wild, and I didn't know what they were when I first found them. I thought they were maybe like someone had left them there or something. It was like some creepy object or something.
Yeah, they look like aliens.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to be hiking in the woods and then find something that really surprises you and kind of scares you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just wait, what is this? Is this from another realm?
Oh.
I thought maybe I was having an episode. Which is totally okay. A great place to have an episode in the backwoods.
Oh, totally.
But yeah, so Earthstar Mountain, the mountain that I live on, is not named historically Earthstar Mountain, but I gave it a pet name.
That's so sweet.
And yeah, so that's where the record title came from, was being really inspired by the Earthstar mushroom, and then also combining two titles, which are two songs that are really important to me on the record. And sonically, I think tell a story of what you're going to get into on the record.
Definitely. Did you make your last record upstate?
The last record we made in the city and upstate.
But this is your first official almost completely upstate record since living
this
there.
Is my first completely upstate record. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We run this recording studio, and you think that I'd have cascading landscapes of time because I have a studio to make music or I'd work on it. But life took some interesting turns. And also we were like building the studio out. And so we were just sort of piecing the record together over the last couple of years. But yeah, getting to record up here, like how all the other artists do.
Yeah.
Come to our studio was such a treat. I was like, wow, this is really cool being able to record in my own studio, like up here.
Yeah, because you're just like hosting so much and you're around it all the time, but you don't necessarily get tons of time.
Nice to, do something for me. I've been recording in the city in studios for, since I was probably like 19 or 20 or more like 21. And recording upstate is just a completely different thing. When you're in the city, I mean, I love working in studios in the city. There's so much that you have access to, but there's just a different flow state when you're upstate. And, if a track isn't, if a take isn't working, you can like go jump in the creek and reset your nervous system or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask like about how the approach was different from your last record to this one, because obviously, yeah, you are in nature so much more, and you are actually extremely busy though running this studio, but like, I guess like your pace must have definitely changed since the last time, just in general.
Yeah, like recording in the studio, you sort of feel like you gotta get your bang for your buck. You're in the city and you gotta squeeze everything in because you only have the studio for, 10 till midnight or whatever, or 10 a.m. till midnight. And so, yeah, I think the pace of this record, I was able to sort of like self-edit more and marinate on the songs and like come back to them or leave them alone or boot them off. And I think having that time and less pressure on me to like kind of crank something out, I was able to like arrive at something, that I was happier with. And also like the song that you came and sang on, like we recorded that like 6 months ago, or it feels like 6 months ago. Like we recorded it right before I basically finished the record, and there were other songs that like I just did like last minute that just felt right and that were like the puzzle piece. And so like I think having that freedom to just do whatever I want is, I mean, such a luxury, but I really needed that.
Yeah, I feel also like I hear that in the music so much. Like I was re-listening to the record this morning and feeling so like hit by your words and your word choices, but also I really loved how the production and your singing, like, and even in your last like album too, like you're really good at making your singing and the production like feel this very symbiotic thing, like a very natural push and pull of each other.
Thank you.
I feel like you thrive in like dreamlike spaces with production and with like storytelling and.
Thank you.
And it's funny that you brought up like the studio and hosting and everything like that, because my favorite, like, I think one of my favorites on the album is Baby You're Lying. And then I read about what you said about that song being about how when you used to nanny and you could just read people's faces and just understand what they were really feeling. And I'd never even heard of a song that like talked about that before. And it's like a testament to like also the person that I know that is you, that is like just a very nurturing, dreamlike person who's
thank you,
caring and can like hold space. Like you can like, you know what I'm saying? It's really cool. Like I feel like the in between is something that is so scary for a lot of people, but you do so well in it. And it shows so much, like even just what you're talking about with your approach. Like,
thank you. I think also, what you're also hearing is like, or there's like a lot of synergy with like my producer, who Sam Evian, who is also my partner, and that is like, I feel like I finally found the person that I was supposed to make music with. He also happens to be my partner, my life partner, but Sam's production, I feel like he's sort of like my translator in a way, where sonically, I'll bring him the song and weaving in the the compositions and the production, and we find this like realm together that is very much like the reason why the records sound the way they do is very much because of Sam. So yeah, and I think there's something really wild, like, you know, having a partner and doing your everyday life things with your partner, but then also like being able to connect with your partner through music is something that, I mean, I'm like, how do I say it? It's just like another way to connect, other than like, I don't know, you know, being in love or fucking or whatever.
Totally. It's like a whole different thing.
It's another way to connect that, like, I'm always kind of reaching for, you know, connection and understanding someone and on the deepest levels. And I find that, you know, I feel so lucky that I've been able to kind of tap into that with Sam. And also in a way, like, well, working on music together is sort of like therapy. Like I'll say things in these songs that maybe I would, you know, at first say to him or about something, or it's like a way to kind of, to expand.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask if you feel like you ever have to maybe censor what you're saying because you are working with the person you're with. And like, there's so many good parts about it, but there's also this like,
I think it's a tricky place to navigate. It can be a little bit spicy, I think. But also, you know, again, going back to like being in a relationship with someone that you also admire so much musically it's like kind of a mind fuck, you know, like I have to sometimes forget that, or not forget, but remind myself that like Sam is my partner, but he's also an artist, and I have to allow, you know, we both have to allow each other to be artists and creative and sensitive fucking babies.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him a sensitive baby. I feel like
No.
artists in general, like we're so sensitive. We're so in tune with things on a whole different level than like, let's say, a lawyer, or, you know, like the lawyer brain. And, you know, there's so many different brains, so many like creative brains, and then like, you know, an architect brain that's also very creative. But what kind of brains are we talking about?
I feel like lawyer brain is good.
My brain is fucking cooked at sometimes, not always, but if I haven't had like protein in the morning, I'm just like,
So true.
it's firing.
Oh my God, that's actually very true. I live by that now. I think you might have even told me that. I need to have protein first thing.
What are the different types of brains?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
I think you have a similar brain to me. You're
I'm cooked too.
observant and sensitive and delightful.
Well, I understand what you mean. I mean, like, it's like, it must be interesting making a record with someone that you're also like doing daily tasks with, but also someone that you're like completely enamored by because of what they can do. And when you're watching them, like it must be this thing that you just watch your partner transform into this person that's translating for you.
So many things.
Yeah.
You can also be the person who, you know, like leaves the dishes next to the sink, but doesn't put them in the sink. You know, and you can't bring that into the studio.
Yeah. You have to leave it all behind, I'm sure.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. It's like you gotta bring a neutral space. And I feel so lucky that I have access to, that way of working.
Definitely. I want to sort of talk about the themes of this record for you, like, or maybe first, like, your inspirations or like what you were listening to and like what meant a lot to you when you were like starting the record.
I don't know. I feel like I also want to talk about like how every time I see you posting about music, not like current music, but like music from over the last like 60, 70 years, it's always something that like I also been obsessed with, and I feel like we're drawn to similar music, which is
Everything.
Very eclectic.
Yes, definitely.
And so, yeah, I listen to a lot of Brazilian, Gal Costa is like my number one hero.
I hear that.
Veloso, Chico Buarque. There's this Nino Morricone Chico Buarque record that inspired. I'm not going to send you a playlist of.
Please do.
But, yeah, that would be fun. There's this Italian kind of like torch singer, Nina. Super sexy, like production and these kind of like very torchy vocals. And, I listen to like Turkish psychedelic, Zelda. And who else? The great Sly and the Family Stone, Shiggy Otis. I listen to so much. I love Dusty Springfield.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just go off for a really long time.
But I feel like one of the themes of like all the people that you're like mentioning, or just the vibes of the records you're mentioning, it's like so much about togetherness and like group. And like, I really felt that on your record too, of you including so many people, which I'm honored to be there too. But it feeling like a group coming together. And even when I saw you perform at Le Poisson Bruges with Sam, it was like this huge group of people coming together who play with you guys, and you guys tour together. And it felt like how those records sound, where it's just this sprawling jam, but so like familial and fun and like tight and like sexy and everything that makes those records like feel alive.
Yeah. Having like an incredible cast of musicians, is really important. And I feel so lucky to play with the people that I get to play with. And, Sean Mullins is the core. It's like the core of the record is Sam, Evian, Sean Mullins, Lynn Mullins, and myself. And then we started, trickling in other players. And, but, Lynn Mullins, like,
so sick.
Cool. And he's such a sensitive drummer, but also like brings such an incredible feel. And he's also so well versed as a musician as well. Like he's a drummer, but he's also making arrangements. He plays keys. He's a beautiful piano player and composer. And so, I think just like, getting the right people in the room together is really important.
I also like when I see you with the group, it's like it becomes every time I see you perform, I'm just like, I don't know if you felt like you were born to be a front woman, but there's something so truly Gal Costa about you, how you just are this front woman, whether or not you feel like you are. The more people that are added to a group and you're singing, it feels so powerful. And you definitely have this very specific magnetism that all of your friends talk about, like when you're on stage or when you're cooking and we're outside. It's this thing that Hannah has that everyone's very aware of that maybe they don't tell you about. I don't know, but it's
very sweet of you to say that.
But it's true, and it really comes through in your music, and your lyrics are so intricate and interesting and cool. And I think that the way you frame it with the band and with this like live feeling is so cool and fun. But when you really strip down the songs too, like what you're talking about and like what I was sort of saying before about like writing about complex emotions that are kind of difficult to say or difficult to feel, you do so easily. And it's this like very specific tenderness that I do feel like is pretty hard to get to for a lot of people.
Oh, thank you.
But I want to talk about, can you tell me more about Rag?
Oh, yeah. Well, Rag, I wrote, I'm like sitting next door now because I realized that was a very bad thing.
No, it was good.
Up the nose, under the chin. You gotta find your light, Rag. So I walk on my road a lot. And I just kept noticing this one rag on the side of the road. And it was there for years. And like, it was this pink rag, and it had like scripture on it. It was in another language. It was really beautiful. It was like a pink rag with red scripture on it. And you're like, again, is Hannah having an episode?
No, I'm not.
Rag with this ancient scripture on the side of the road. So I saw this rag and I would just see it on my walks, and then it started to, I would notice it all the time, and then it sort of became like this relationship that I had at this rag. Like I couldn't not look at it. You know, when I was walking, I'm like, oh, there's a rag.
Yeah.
Just a fucking rag. It ends up being like anything can mean everything. You know what I mean? Like this rag, like I had a relationship with this rag. I was walking and it just sort of opened up this realm of, you know, thinking about relationships and people that live on my road, and my neighbor Ed, who's, you know, 75 years old, and he's still got his mother-in-law living with him, had this, like, I don't know how that works, you know, and like, he had this Airstream that he's had for sale up on the side of the road. You know, I'm thinking about like, I'm just going to buy that and I'm going to go like drive across the country. You know, and just like how like, just like a rag on that side of the road can like open up a whole realm of like another world where you can exist, and like how that can like trigger different thoughts.
Sort of like, I think about like the olive branch theory, where it's like, there's an olive branch in front of you, and I think Sylvia Plath wrote it down or something, but it's about like, there's this olive tree and you're at the bottom of it, and every branch is every different type of life you could live based off, and then, but you are so indecisive that the olives start like drying up and dying and falling down, and the choices become less and less because you don't choose your olive branch. And it's like the endless ideas of what your life could have been if you bought that Airstream and just left, or if the rag wasn't there, if it was there, if it was blue instead of pink. Totally. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, that song kind of, I mean, it branches off into other realms. I keep saying realms. I'm really into realms. I'm a big shifter. Well, thank you for asking about that song. It's a favorite of mine for sure. But I basically wrote that song like walking from home to where I was going and back. I basically like wrote the lyrics. I just started reciting this melody, and
whoa,
it's like you're like, and I didn't have my phone on me, so I was like, I felt this, you know, thing happening, and I was like, oh fuck, like okay, like I gotta like remember all this. So then you're sort of like reciting it over and over again, which is like, that's the most fun part of when you're writing a song. It's like you're catching that moment and you're like, okay, I gotta like keep going. But then if you don't have something to record you, it's like a little scary.
Yeah, totally.
Because I'm like, I don't want to lose this. And so, so I just started like riffing and singing this melody, and I was on the road and things were like coming to me. So I think I had like 2 verses, and then I sewed it back up like when I got home and just started playing. I mean, there's only a couple chords in the song as well. I I was like, okay, well, I got to put this over something. It sort of wrote itself that way. But it's very like stream of consciousness. Yeah. Which I think is like very therapeutic, because, you know, things will just come out of me. Like I surprise myself all the time. And, you know, like fitting all these words into like a short verse is, you know, there is a trick to it for sure.
Yeah. I really like stream of consciousness songs anyway, because it's even if you are just reciting this like sentence that maybe means nothing to someone else and something to another person, like it's still kind of, for you, at least documenting this like moment and relationship you had. And it's just proof of life and proof of this happening. But also like, it's the same thing that you were talking about in this song, is basically about stream of consciousness in a way. 'Cause it's like, well, it means something to this person, but it could mean something to this person. And like, maybe when someone reads about Ed, they think about this person in their life, or like, you know, it's music is so up for interpretation. And it was like really fun to read those lyrics and like figure out maybe what you meant, but also like what I got from it and what I thought you meant before finding out what you meant. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, am I ruining it for you?
No, I think it just keeps it like opens it more, if anything.
Yeah.
Like
I also like, I want my songs, that's the goal I hope for everyone, for like the songs to mean something completely different to somebody else. Like take what you need from the song, find your own meaning in it.
Yeah, I really like what you just said, because I feel like in your songs too, like your attitude is something that I think is also very special about your writing. And just even if it is stream of consciousness, or like if something as meaningful as Earthstar Mountain, like those songs are so deep and so profound, but you have this attitude in your songs where it's like you are that person that someone could say anything to and you wouldn't judge. And there's this like very specific tone that you have in your music that's like everything is everything and nothing at the same time. And it's okay to kind of like be in these gray areas. Like you offer a lot of like grace towards the person you're either talking about, or like the feeling you're trying to evoke. Like it's an equal balance of like, this is either like, if it's good or bad, like it's either this is how I feel, but it's okay.
Thank you for that observation. It's wild to like, now, we were talking about this before the other day, like now that the songs are out, they're like everyone's, and like it's cool to see the songs through other people's vision, sight, ears, hear it through other people's ears, the way that you are, interpreting it or taking it on is really cool.
Yeah, it's like super sick that's like the tone of voice, I think, in your songs, because I think it's like maybe even easier to write music where it's like, I'm angry about this and you're angry the whole time, or like, I'm sad and only sad, or happy and only happy. And like, there's a lot of kind of not contradicting, but like multiple layers to every emotion that you're expressing, which I think is like really important and like a lot more true, I think, to like the human experience, which, I mean, you're around people all the time. You're around people so much. There's so many different types of people that come in your life too, through the studio, like, and they come basically share your home with you. So it's like, that's an intimate place to be with maybe strangers or people you kind of know. And like, yeah, I just think that's a really cool disposition to have.
I think you're like an oracle or something. Like, tell me more.
I have so much. I mean, and also like, I know you, but it's like amazing to listen to your record as someone who does know you. And like, it really does feel very true to you and true to like the things you say and put out. And you are a very nurturing person. And like, you also are like one of the most curious people I know. So it's cool to hear that in your music. And yeah, and I think it's like Sam's production supports you so well, and I think I can feel love in the music, and like I think anyone who listens to your record can tell that you and the people who are producing it like know you very well, which is also very difficult to grasp. But let's talk about the Italian song that you wanted to cover and put in the middle of the record. I want to know why it was important to you to have this sort of interlude included.
Well, so I was on tour last spring with Sam, and we were doing like a duo tour, or not duo, both of our bands, but we shared a band. So, what do you call that? Like, we were doing a tour. What do you call that? A lot of work.
I don't know. Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
A bang bang. Is that
a bang bang?
Have a second dinner. Yeah. Bang bang.
Bang bang's good. Yeah.
So we were driving cross country. We're driving through Utah. Everyone's tired. We're like 3/4 the way done with the tour. And so, when you're on tour, people like sometimes on day drives, you're just like kind of checked out, have your headphones on, you're reading or snoozing or catching up with your special someone, or I don't know, or doom scrolling on your phone and totally like disconnecting from your body and right. And so it was that sort of vibe in the van. And Moon Mullins and I were in the front. I was in the passenger. I was passenger princess. I drive a lot. But at that moment, I was passenger princess and Moon Mullins was driving. And I was like, I want to dig into some more Morricone. You know that he did over 500 film scores?
No.
He never said no. Super raunchy.
Yeah. Wow.
Do that? I think Ryan's a rapper, but it's
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
I'm
funny.
using words incorrectly.
No, it's perfect. This is really good.
So he did this film score, and I'm gonna have to pull up the movie title and then completely disconnect our call. It's an Italian film. It's kind of a thriller, murder thriller, and okay, here we go. But I'm not gonna play it. So it's from this film called Vergogna Tifosi, and it's got a really cool album artwork for it. And so I just dug into this soundtrack, and we're driving across Utah, and where are you? I'm finding you again. Driving across Utah, and this melody and the song comes on, and it's Ida Delorso is the singer, and the melody just keeps going higher, and you think she just can't go any higher, and it's just she's just soaring, and driving across Utah with this otherworldly landscapes, it just totally stopped us in our tracks, and we were sitting up front, and we were both just so moved by the song and the composition, and I was like, we need to record this, Sean. I want to sing like that. You hear a song and you're like, I want to sing.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was like, I want to do that. I think I can do that. And it's sort of like a challenge because, it's a really crazy melody. Sing, and you just keep going higher.
No, I remember when I came to the studio and I heard it for the first time because I'd never heard the original. And I was I had the exact same experience of just being oh, and she's probably going to go here. But, oh no, it goes higher and higher. It was wild. I found it so cool that you covered it. Did you want to put it in, because you put it in the middle of the record,
Yeah, it's basically side B. It starts side B. And I just think it's such a cool place to just start out. I wanted to start the record that way.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, no, you're not. Fine, side B then. It just kind of opens this portal to the sonic landscape that I really want to just swim in. But and we had you play clarinet on there and having you sing, and we ended up this song, we just kept the song to being an interlude because it's just it's so much.
Yeah.
Melody. But I liked it being an interlude. Sort of it was so fun. And Sooth plays on that as well, and quarters, piano, and it was fun to have all these amazing musicians yourself, Sufjan, Sam, Evian, and Moon Mullins. It's kind of a dream team. I would love to do more.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
We can do an instrumental soundtrack.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
No movie, but...
No movie. Just soundtrack. Yeah, someone can make the movie 20 years from now. That would be so sick. Yeah, I love the idea of it being a portal. I feel like your album is the perfect sort of soundtrack of oh, hey, Jan! But it's
our friend Sophie just woke up, I think. We were rehearsing until 4 in the morning.
Oh my god.
Or maybe it was 3 and then I didn't get to sleep. I don't know if you have any more time, so.
No, it's up to you. I have, let's see what else I have. We got a lot of good stuff. I think that I was gonna ask, maybe more personal, do you feel this record,
Personal stuff?
just your social security number and, no, blood type, no, really just sort of asking do you feel with every record you make, you feel maybe this is good, like closing type of stuff. Like, do you feel like closer to the person you are? I think sometimes it's difficult to kind of like, I don't know if you feel this, but like bring your artist self and your real self together. It's sometimes it's like a disconnecting feeling when you might have put out a record years before and it doesn't like, and you're such a different person now. Do you feel like putting out this record sort of like made you bridge that gap a little bit more for yourself? Like, do you feel like it's a true representation of like where you are right now?
Yeah, I think I feel, this record is very much me and like processing, observations of life and where I want to be or where I thought I would be and I don't remember the question anymore.
Well, maybe just like, do you feel like it's like Earthstar Mountain is like a good representation of where you're at and kind of like a collection of like the person you feel like you are in the world right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also excited to make more music very soon and not wait so long to, put something out next. I feel sort of like, the chapter for me. I mean, now I'm performing these songs and I get to like live through the songs again in a different way, like in a live setting.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. But I'm also, like ready for the next thing. I think that's also like kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, just like kind of the pattern for an artist. Just like you once you're done with it, you're like, I'm done with that. I'm moving on to the next thing. So, and I'm sure, you're probably getting to that point as well too.
Yes.
And also like, can we talk about your record?
No.
You're like, I'm 100% absolutely tapped out talking about.
No, I will say though, like I did just like touring a new record for 6 months. It was like so interesting what songs became important to me, like during touring and like how your relationship changes just by hearing the same songs every night and kind of like tapping in and out of consciousness of like, oh, I'm saying these words right now. And last night I didn't even know I was saying these words, but tonight I feel them. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you after you've like played more shows and see what it feels like.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Well, yeah, on to the next.
Well, thanks, Hannah.
Well, thank you so much.
That was great.
Fun.
Thanks for listening to the Talkhouse Podcast, and thanks to Hannah Cohen and Clairo for chatting. If you liked what you heard, check out all the great stuff at talkhouse.com, and of course, follow us on your favorite podcast provider. This episode is produced by Myron Kaplan, and the Talkhouse theme is composed and performed by The Range. See you next time.